We're back with another set of PC builds that you can build yourself at home, trying to fall in the price point of $1,000 for your PC build. And we're gonna give you a couple of ways to build it, so in case you're not an Intel or an AMD fanboy, you can choose to mix and match to your heart's desire. We already did a $750 PC build guide that you can check out right up there. We heard your feedback, implemented a few changes, and we're back with a good way for you to build a $1,000 system. We're gonna start off with the path that I would choose to go when it comes to building a PC, and that's going to start off with an Intel i5-13400F. I absolutely love these CPUs. You have 10 cores, 16 threads. It's very similar to the i5-12600K with a minor clock speed variation here and there, and it's a solid improvement over the previous generation 12400, and it only goes for $209.86. An absolute steal for what is a 10-core CPU. Mind you, the previous 10-core CPU that you could buy was like the 10850K. That was the high-end i9, and now it's in the i5 region. We're gonna pair that with a Gigabyte B660M motherboard. This is a DDR4 version, has built-in PCI Express 4.0, also has Wi-Fi 6. It has support for the 12th and 13th gen CPUs. However, you may struggle with some BIOS updates. If you're buying right now, it likely will have support for 13th gen, but because it's not the 760, there might be a little iffiness when it comes to supporting that 13400F. But thankfully, this Gigabyte board has their Q-Flash Plus, which allows you to update the BIOS without having the CPU installed. So if it doesn't boot first attempt, you can still fix it, no worries. Now for the RAM, we're going for an absolute steal right here. We're gonna choose to recommend 16 gigabytes because that's still a very good sweet spot recommendation. However, if you want to spring for the 32, just get two of these kits, but it's the T-Force Vulcan Z DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM, 16 gigabyte kit, CL16. It's only going for $37 right now. That is ridiculously cheap. It fits in the color scheme of what we're looking for with this black, white, and a little bit of color pop in what we're building with this system. But you could either 37 bucks get 16 gigs, or for 74 bucks you could get 32. The choice is gonna be yours, but price on RAM is incredibly down right now. It makes it so that we can save that money and put it towards a few other things. But that color pop that I mentioned for the system is gonna come in the way of the CPU cooler. Now we're choosing the V-True V5 Pink CPU cooler, gonna be more than enough for the 13400F. It's a 150 watt TDP cooler. The 13400F's not even gonna come close to that, and it's only $35. However, in case you don't want pink, they do have a black or a white version. The white version will probably go better with the rest of the components that we have chosen for this system, but be a little bit of interest. Go with the pink CPU cooler. Now for the SSD, we're also going with something that's on sale. This is actually an SSD that's designed to go in the PlayStation 5. Because of the pricing, we just think we have to recommend it. It's gonna take advantage of that PCI Express 4.0 capacity that's in the motherboard, and it's this Nemix 1 terabyte SSD. It's going for $69.88. Absolute steal for 1 terabyte, especially with the speeds of 7,400 megabytes per second, which is a highly rated PCI Express 4.0 drive, PlayStation 5 compatible, so it's good on read and write speeds, and you're booting up in a really quick time frame. Now, what are we going to be shoving all of this into? There's a mighty decent case that you can check out with Deepcool CH370. This is a bit of a unique color scheme. It's white on the outside with a deep black on the inside. Typically, if you find white cases, they also try to give you a little bit of pop on the inside, but the muted color on the inside is going to allow that pink cooler to really shine, and it's only going for $60 right now. It's a dang good looking case for the price point, and it even has a little headphone stand that shoots out of the side in case you want to hang your little listeners on it. And for cooling in that fan, we're just going to toss in a 3-pack of the Up Here case fans for 11 bucks. It's just an easy way to make sure that there's movement in the motion of the ocean of your PC setup. And powering all of this is going to be the Corsair RM750E. It's fully modular, 80 plus gold, $99.99. A fairly good price point for the capacity, the modularity, and the fact that it's a rated A tier power supply on the LTT power supply tier list. With that power supply, you can get these white extensions, which are going to help accentuate the motherboard, the CPU, as well as the graphics card, to just give it a little bit of color pop as well, making it look exciting. So we've got that 10 cores in the Deepcool case with the pink V-True cooler, rocking a 750 watt power supply, which is going to be gaming with an RTX 3070. We found this Gigabyte Aorus one over on eBay for $333, but currently they're going for about $350. You can get it even lower if you try. Brand new ones are going for a minimum of 500 bucks on Newegg, 550 on Amazon, so there's a little wiggle room there, but a 3070 is going to be a great foundation for 1440p gaming. You combine that with the 10 core 16 thread CPU, and you're actually going to be very good for either 1080p gaming, getting that high refresh rate. The 13th gen Intel CPU is going to push those numbers, and the 3070 is going to deliver some decent frames when it comes to that. So with that RTX 3070, the way that we've spec'd out the build with the 13400F, everything that we found right now, you're looking at a total price point of $956.01. You want to add in those cable extensions, you're looking at $977.97, which is below the $1,000 price point. But as I mentioned at the top of the video, we got a couple more things that you could add in case you don't want to go the Intel Nvidia route, in case you want to spice it up with some Team Red or some even Team Blue. Now you can add in something like the Arc A770 into the PC build. It is going to be a downgrade from the RTX 3070 when it comes to raw gaming performance. It's going to come in roughly the same price point. This thing is roughly $329, $349 depending on where you find it. However, it does have a few key enhancements over the 3070 that might make it worth considering depending on your use case. If you're using it for raw gaming, don't consider this. Go with the used 3070. It's going to be better for that 1440p gaming because the A770 is more comparable to an RTX 3060. But what it does have is AV1 hardware encoding, which is going to be better for any type of streaming that you're doing, especially now that AV1 streaming's rolled out to Discord and YouTube. Still waiting on Twitch. It does have that feature. It also has Intel's Quick Sync, which makes it better for various content creation tasks or productivity. So it does potentially work. It works in the price point. If you're only using this for gaming, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But what I can recommend is switching over to Team Red, okay? You want to get rid of that Intel CPU. We have the option of going with a Ryzen 7 5700X. This is going for roughly the same price point of $208. Now you are losing a couple cores. You're going down to 8 cores, but you do still have 16 threads. You are losing a little bit on IPC. The single core performance of this Ryzen 5700X is going to be below the 13400F, so it is a step down in many ways, but it could potentially leave you to upgrading to the 5800X 3D if you can save up that extra $100-200 that the 5800X 3D is currently going for. It's about $310, $330 depending on where the sale price falls. But with that, you will need a different motherboard, so we're going to recommend this ASRock B550M PG Riptide. It's micro ATX. It's going to fit into that deep cool case very well. It's going for $100. It has USB-C, Wi-Fi, built-in M.2 heatsink, supports everything like the PCI Express 4.0 SSD, that same RAM that we already have with DDR4. It's going to be an overall good system. And if you want to swap out that RTX 3070 for an AMD equivalent, which actually this is going to get you faster performance, it is slightly more expensive than a used 3070. The RX 6750 XT is currently going for $410 brand new, the XFX Speedster version. You're spending a little bit more. There have been new price sales on the 6750 XT that have gotten it below $400. I think I even saw one that was below $350. So if you get a good sale on it, absolutely go with the 6750 XT over the 3070. It's just a little bit trickier whether or not you're gonna get that, but you're gonna get significantly higher FPS than the RTX 3070, especially at 1440p, and it'll absolutely stomp on the Arc A770. AMD's last generation GPUs, 6650 XT, 6750 XT, are still really great performers in the current market. Still slightly overpriced from where I'd like to see them, but if you use our affiliate links in the video description, the 6750 XT is currently 15% off on Amazon. But if you go the AMD route, you swap in that 5700X with the 6750 XT, you're looking at a total price point of $1,030, so a little bit over budget. Again, if you find a great sale on the 6750 XT, absolutely go for it. That's going to be the best GPU that you could possibly slot in at the $1,000 price point for a gaming PC right now. But that is our recommendation for what you should be looking at for a $1,000 PC build at the current moment here in April 2023. But in case you don't want to spend any money and you just want to win a PC, we're actually giving away this one right over here. This is a Cooler Master TD500 Mesh V2. Got the ASRock B650 live mixer with a Ryzen 5 7600X, RTX 3060 Demon Slayer card, because we really tried to color coordinate the entire experience. We're giving this away. Come watch us over on Twitch. That's how you participate in the giveaway. We'll have a link in the video description for that. But again, as mentioned, all links for every parts that we mentioned are below in the comments for you to check out. We'll be back with another PC build guide later. I'm Brett. You've been UFD Teched.